I need to double check that one, but definitely round number 2 now because yeah, we can read it on the screen, and round number 3 would be shortly after. Don't know exactly when. Okay, so you guys, if you're joining, tell me who you want to. Oops, what's this thing here? What is it? I've opened up another. This thing shouldn't be opening. And okay, cool. Wesley Anish, which one is it? What's that? Levon Vidit, Aronian Levon Vidit, Ivan Saric MVL. Which one shall we look at, guys? Okay, don't matter. So let's just do this. Let's just do this one. Then we're gonna peruse through the others. Let me check on my screen here if we actually live on YouTube and Twitch. We should be. We should be. Okay. We should be live. And on Facebook, we should be live as well. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to check all the other channels. If it's on YouTube, probably we should be multi-broadcasting now. All right. So as per usual, guys, we are not going to using the engine during the coverage. Hello, Mosen Chess, and we're just gonna think for ourselves as it is. And of course, when we verify later on, it's nothing wrong in double checking if the lines were correct as we had thought about them playing. So it is. I'm streaming now, guys. Yeah. Well, I'll. Okay. Why to play? Yeah. Actually, I think I should be taking that call. So. Whose turn is it? Vidit's turn. Vidit's turn to play. Okay, now that's a diagonal here. I wonder. Well, I don't know. Should you trade the queens? I'm not sure. Because if you do this, queen takes, knight takes, but then you're going to be dropping this pawn. And actually, that one is going to be taking two with multiple threats. So I'm not sure queen c4 is going to do anything. We might be having this, though. I mean, I like that pawn. It's so advanced. But he attacks on b7. So you got to take there. I don't know which way you will be capturing. So bishop has to take, right? Bishop or queen, one of these two. Hello, Kalex. Long time no see, my friend. How's it going? How's it going? How's things around there? So bishop takes on b7 now. Black to play again. This king is very exposed. Like really, really, really exposed. Now played by Vidit. Attacks the bishop and protects this guy twice, which is being attacked by the bishop and by the queen. So double attack, double defense for the time being. What is black going to play? Well, that's a good question. Bishop is being hit. Where do you move the bishop? Do you know what's interesting about this bishop here? If you go bishop g5, it can be further hit with h4. So I'm not sure bishop g5 helps with anything. It's an interesting position. Oh, that's all right. No worries. Calix, I think you've got your whole life ahead of you, and you can play chess every now and then, or you can allocate more time if you're okay with that one. And yeah, you gotta enjoy this, and whenever you got time, you see, you don't need to stress out excessively. I'm really, really enjoying analyzing, looking at the games, trying to finding solutions. Try to learn every single day one or two more things. So just, as relaxing as possible. Right, so the bishop on h6 being attacked by the knight. So the bishop on h6 has to do something. Can you defend the bishop? You kind of cannot. Can you create a counter attack here with black? Actually, that starts looking difficult to defend with black, really. those points go up and down, guys, all the time. So, for instance, you're having one of those days and you're starting playing your blitzes or something, and you messing up the first 2 3 games, then you're gonna go on the losing streak and stuff. So that's just happens. Then you take a break, have a coffee, play the next day maybe, or 2 days later on, you're gonna get the points back. So that's how it goes. Yeah, so Moses chess, exactly. I'm looking at the position and I don't know what to tell you to play for black. So bishop g5, I had speculated previously, and I just went directly with h4, which I think is quite a challenge. But now knight bd2 attacks the queen on tempo anyway. So queen's being hit. And so you gotta move the queen now. So black queen has to go. You could go potentially, if I'm correct, could you go, guys, queen to d3? Queen to d3, queen takes, pawn takes, and potentially might you have a bishop? Finally active? Okay, but he goes queen to e6. Okay. Now, may I ask, guys, what's happening after this? Do you think after this bishop takes, and if queen takes, queen takes? Oh. Absolutely. It's a lifelong process, Calix. So we're going to be studying chess and enjoy chess for the remainder of our chess career, so to speak. I mean, most and foremost, I think the most important thing is for us is just to enjoy the game. Really, you really have to love the game, and that's it. Then you build up on that one. You love the game. Try to expand your knowledge step by step, bit by bit, day by day, lesson by lesson. That's a good question, Moses Chess. That's a good question. Uh, I think yeah, that's very much doable. That's very much, it makes a lot of sense, so to speak. It makes sense. Now, the question is if you should castle or if you should be pushing h2 to h4. But then again, h2 to h4, could that be answered with bishop takes e3? In terms that if, well, no, it doesn't because knight takes e3, right? Now, in the span of 4 minutes, white needs to take the decision. White needs to take the, okay, queen to c4. That will pin the black queen to the king now. Okay, queen c4, queen takes, knight takes. Obviously. Well, you don't have to take, but I mean, could you do something else? Just say, could you do something like this? Exactly right. Exactly right. Bishop d5, played by Levon immediately. Bishop d5, queen's being attacked. And this guy, guys, don't forget about the knight on g4, which is hanging, by the way. That guy is hanging as well. So you gotta go back, right? I mean, if you, oh, actually, he wants to checkmate. You know, this is so cool by white here, by Vidit. He played queen c7. He just wants to checkmate in the next turn here, you know, but probably rook f7 or something like that. Rook f7, queen f7, you name it. One of these. That's quite sharp. It's a very sharp ending. Now you can defend against. I mean, rook f7, right? Rook f7. And, well, yeah, rook f7, you attack the queen with tempo. You also got to be careful about this. And when the bishop moves, well, heck, where does the bishop go? But the knight is being attacked by the queen at the same time. This is so sharp here. So rook f7 attacking queen. Why queen must play? You're probably gonna go queen g3. You're gonna go queen g3, right? To defend the knight and defend, you know, extra defense for the e3. Queen g3 after rook f7, right? And then you're going to be pushing h4. And then again, the question is, where does the black bishop go? Because you've got knight h6, which is forking the king and the rook. So that's getting quite interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, if I started now, Calix, my aim is to cover the next round as well. That's what I aim for. Oh, that's a check with tempo. Ooh, you are in. I mean, Viking is in check now. You're gonna push pawn g3. If you push pawn g3 after rook f7, that's, you know, queen g3 had just been denied. But g3 seems to be the move you've got to play, right? There you go, g3 straight away. Bishop now took on f6. What do you play? What do you play? I still think maybe castle short. No, you can't do castle short. Yes, you can. No, you can't. No, you can't do castle short because this guy's hanging. So you got to take now. But if you take now, rook's going to take, and you will not be able to castle anytime soon. This is quite a position. I didn't look at the other games because I find this one in particular quite challenging. And quite exciting. 3 minutes for Vidit here and 11 minutes for Levon. And look at how sharp this is. There you go. Knight takes f6, rook takes f6. And my friends, we cannot castle because the rook covers the f1 square. And that's it. Do you play, for instance, rook f1? I'm about to say. Do you play rook f1? The idea being you want to neutralize this rook, which is very dangerous and active. And I don't know, given a chance, you're supposed probably to play something with the other rook as well. Rook c springs to mind, maybe? Maybe rook c. Maybe rook c1. But for the time being, rook f1 I'd be interested in. Rook takes, king takes, okay. What can I say? Queen h3 attacking you, then you're going to go king g1. And you're going to play like this. This bishop is interesting. Interesting, this bishop. Rook b1, okay. He chose to play the rook from a to b1. Okay, there is a check here coming. Rook b8, rook takes, queen takes, check. Then king has to play. Well, I think he can block rook f7, right? I think it makes sense. Well, we can establish that actually rook b1 wants to play rook b8. And now the question is for black if they want to do something about this. Do something about this, meaning perhaps what? Queen c8, queen c6, rook f... Now, rook f7 doesn't stop rook b8. So rook b8 is going to happen. He wants to water down the pressure and stuff. Rook f1, pretty much Calix, pretty much everything is risky here now. It is so sharp. The white king is right where they shouldn't be. He's supposed to be castle that king, you know, but it's not. And it's on e1. You're not supposed to have the king there, but there it is. King is on e1. What can you do? You're going to play like this, and you're going to try take your rooks to do something. Rook f1. You try to trade off that rook in a corner with queen, maybe check with tempo or something. What else can you do? Then coming back, I mean, moving to e5 maybe? There's a lot of maybes, you know, but... And the problem is that Vidit is on 2 minutes and Levon is on 9 minutes 42, so more time for Levon. Now he goes with this queen. Ooh, ay. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I wonder, okay, he stops white from playing rook. No, he doesn't. You can still play if you want to, because you got a knight defending f1 the second time, so you could. But I guess you want to go with this one first. Rook b8 check. Rook takes, queen takes. What do you play? King g7, queen c7, rook f7 blocking. No, rook f7 coming from f6. Rook f7 blocking the check. Then queen's got to go. Queen c3. That's a possibility. It could be some others as well. And the problem is 1 minute 40 seconds. So it's just very challenging now for Vidit. Yeah. Okay, rook b8 definitely trades off that rook in a corner, right? Of course. Well, they could drop this guy if they want to. As crazy as it looks like, they could play rook f8. Rook takes b8 is not the only move, guys, if I'm not mistaken. So if white plays, if Vidit decides to play in the next 60 seconds and he goes rook b8, black doesn't have to take straight away. They could play rook f6, rook f8. And it could be. But then you're going to take on a8. Rook takes on a8. What did he play? Queen c5. He played queen c5, threatening to take actually the bishop. And of course, that would be the end of the game. So black has to defend the bishop or to move the bishop to safety, whatever safety means. Now, given the fact that the bishop on d5 actually hits its own pawn on e4, probably they want to move their bishop someplace else. If you don't want to defend it, you got to move it somewhere else. But where? Not that easy find. It's not an easy find. Or could you just go for trades now? Queen d6? Queen d6, queen takes, rook takes. Could you do that? Seemingly you sort of can. Well, you could also do queen c6. With black, that is. It's black's then, by the way, guys. There's quite a few moves to consider by Levon, but Levon has 8 minutes 40 seconds, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna find something reasonable to respond with now here. So you got this, you got that, you got queen c6, you got queen d6. I don't think you want to give up on the f-file. The f-file is so beautifully, so nicely controlled by the rook on f6. So probably you could do rook d6 if you want, but that doesn't look good. Maybe the other rook over to d8 to defend the bishop. Now, thanks very much for following, my friend. So, yeah, you either use that rook on a8 to d8, or you're going to move the queen, right? Or you move the bishop. You move the bishop like where? Can you play something like bishop a2? I mean, I don't know what to say about bishop a2, but it looks like you are going to attack a rook. I don't know what to say about that bishop a2. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Bishop a2. You could definitely do it, but then rook b2? Rook b2 and the rook has to, the bishop has to move again. So you didn't do nothing, right? Well, you could do queen. Okay, bishop d6. Okay. Should Vidit push this guy or take it? Which one is it? There's definitely something brewing here. I mean, there are quite a few. Let me just draw a couple of arrows. Yeah, Calix, that's true. Bishop a2 wasn't that promising, I guess. After rook b2, you gotta waste the tempo again. But now after this move, bishop e6, it looks like white can kind of take initiative. Are not, I mean, is there something wrong with knight takes e4? He's got 17 seconds. I really genuinely wonder if knight takes e4 is that bad. Knight takes... Okay, he pushed the pawn. I was also inquiring about this one, but he chose to push the pawn. Okay. I don't think it's fundamentally a bad one, because the bishop has to move, but the bishop can play h3, you see. And there is also this idea available, because the bishop defends the c8 square for the rook to play to. So after bishop h3, I don't know what's going to happen for white. Maybe white decides still to take on e4. No, he plays rook c8 right now, which is very cool, but could attack the queen, and queen has to go. This is so not over. Now you could go here. Could you, though? Oh my god, could you do queen e7? He didn't play queen e7, guys. He played queen to d, going for this guy. But after bishop plays, we've got a checkmate threat. We've got bishop and queen, and e2 checkmate. And the rook is being defended by the queen currently, so you can't even take it. But even if you could, who cares? Because queen e2, simply checkmate. Oh, boy. Now you got an issue. You got a massive issue here with white. Okay, I don't know what you're doing with white. Perhaps you could just resign. Perhaps you could just resign. Yes, he had just resigned, ladies and gentlemen. He just resigned. You can't defend against this one. Sorry, that was a crazy game. Look at this threat here. Queen e2. You cannot defend against it. That's it. Let's go very quickly. Oops. Let's go very quickly to other games. So we want to get the last things crazy. We didn't castle Yash, and I think that's definitely having some consequences. The White King, I did say when I started the stream that the White King was exactly on the most unfortunate place, right in the middle of the board. So we can say, guys, you know, yet again, another example. If you don't castle, well, I'm not on the look. There are always exceptions in chess. Always exceptions, of course. But obviously, Vidit paid the price for not castling his king. That's for sure. Okay. Black had played h. So that's Jan Nepomniachtchi with 6 minutes versus Fabi 1 minute. Another sharp game here. Oh, okay. What can I see? There is a pass pawn here. There is also a pass pawn here. There is a bishop blocking the pawn, but also a bishop looking at f7. Okay. King is on h1. The other king is on g8. Nice and sweet here. What else is this? I think this guy wants to play rook to c3. That is Fabi. Amongst others. Probably Fabi wants to play rook to c3 together with this guy. Maybe there is something. Maybe there is something born out of rook c3 and knight g5 attacking knight. Let me just try some imagination exercise here. Rook c3, knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes, check, king g2. Where you gonna go? Rook h4. There is something. You gotta calculate this one accurately. Maybe this rook d8 first. Anyway, white's to play. Let's just keep the proportion. White's to play. This pawn is being attacked like how many times? Like twice. But I'm not sure that should be the focus of black because there is always the danger of a pin with rook e1 and things. So I'm not sure, but knight g3 might be just the thing. So you really have to move carefully here. With knight, black to play. Sorry, white to move. It's white. Maybe queen f3 and I'm not sure. What can you possibly play here? Rook fe1, but you give up on the f7 and the rook attacking on. So maybe not the best idea to change the column for that rook. Maybe you gotta keep your guy on the f file. Should you play queen f3 or what else can you do? Could you play rook g6? Which is absolutely insane. I mean, the pawn is being pinned. Rook g6 in order to take the knight. But is this strong enough? And then you get a queen here. Yeah, okay. I'm not. It's just a bit too much. Yeah, bishop d5 is cool because it actually keeps an eye on this guy. Could you play this afterwards? Check, but then I'm gonna play this and I attack your knight and I attack um and the queen is being hit, so probably knight e4 is not gonna work. Knight e4, rook e1, knight g. Oh, he actually went for this idea. Should you play queen f3 or no? Rook doesn't work because you're losing the queen. Jesus Christ. Rook e1. If you play rook e1 as knight f2, you're actually losing the queen. So queen f3 actually. Queen f3. Okay, queen e1. Queen e1. Right. This one can't happen because the pawn is pinned. Knight's being attacked twice. Probably he's going to move the knight, right? You have to move the knight. It doesn't allow bishop on d5, does not allow f pawn to go. So you have to move the knight. Where do you move the knight? Knight f6, right? Knight f6 and bishop b3 back? Oh, I don't know. You take the queen. Queen takes, rook takes. Okay, knight f6, exactly. As I said. And now, I don't know if you should take the queen or not. Probably you could. Queen takes, rook takes. And then you go after this pawn. Maybe you go after that pawn. And also try to push the other pawn. Hi there, Miller. That's fine. We're just covering this chess event. United Croatia or something. What's the name? Yeah, something like that. SuperUnited. I noticed they always put the super bad, super united in the this kind of prefix. They always put it in the in today's chess events titles. All right, so queen takes, as we said, queen takes, rook takes, and bishop moved away from the knight, bishop to f3. And yeah, I guess there is something now about those pawns. White would like to go in. Okay, we've got knight g3 coming. So you got to be careful about that idea. I guess if you play king h2, there is always knight d2, my friends. So, okay, so he actually chose rook c because you probably have a lot of threats from that knight, and he didn't want to take it. He wanted to preserve the bishop actually on this diagonal. Look, John Miller, if you want to sell some digital products, I'm not buying frames or anything. Or if you came for chess, you're welcome. If anything else, that's not the place. Right, rook b6. Rook b6 attacking this pawn. So actually, if the black rook takes, the white rook takes on b4. Right, so that would be a trade. But also this guy will be attacked twice afterwards. Okay, a6 defending the pawn with the rook. Okay, this guy's still hanging, but if you take it, the black rook takes. Probably should be ending up in a draw, right? Okay, we can debate on this one for a while. There's still some dangers here, but let's see. Let's just see. Moses Chess, that's just, it happened as I had been streaming for the last, what, 18 months now? Pretty much on a regular basis, but it goes very slowly anyway. So I would agree with you, Moses Chess. I would definitely agree with you. The pace of getting friends on your streams and people to following on Twitch, I find it very, 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 very slow anyway. You know, because normally if you're not a big streamer, you're probably gonna be on the last page of the Twitch. So also quite difficult for people to getting straight to you unless they know of your live stream from other social media platforms. You know, so if you're more successful currently on Facebook or Insta or TikTok or something, you may want to let the guys know on those platforms to join you on this platform, or maybe even better, do the multi-broadcast, because that's the best stuff you could do. So you have to stream simultaneously on a couple of platforms. And there is a software for this. There are softwares, actually, not just one. There are a few. Yeah. So you could just multi-stream and see if it works better for you. But yeah, the process of getting followers, it's quite a slowish one, indeed. Now, it's an interesting position here. If rook takes, knight takes, and they're not going to take with a pawn. Obviously, they're not going to double up the pawns for this. So rook takes, it's definitely a certain thing. So if rook takes, knight's going to take, but I'm not sure that's what you want to do. Or you could, but then get the rook here to defend the pawn if you still want to defend the pawn, or maybe you're going to play bishop b7. So let me just highlight this again, guys. Rook takes f7, rook takes f6, knight takes f6, bishop plays b7. But no, he goes for this idea, trying to take here. So bishop takes, pawn takes, pawn. Okay, now that's a draw, guys. This is it. This is a draw. Fabi and Nepo now just wasting time. It's an absolute draw here. There is no way to making no progress whatsoever. But thank you, Miller. Not at the minute. No. That's a draw, exactly as we said, guys. And the last seconds here. This one, 3. Wow, now this is something interesting, because it looks to me still not very easy, but I guess this passer should make all the difference in theory. It's a pass pawn. It is a pass pawn. So how do you convert this material advantage? What idea do you apply here? Could you go for rook? Could you go for rook d7? I'm kind of liking that idea, but am I missing something, I wonder? No, he plays rook f7 to cut off completely the black king from moving closer. That's important. That's also important, because if you allow that one, it could be some rook b check. You can't move on e2 because would be theoretically the black king. And if you move here, there is another check. And then this guy might be falling and stuff. So it's complicated. So a rook f7, guaranteed there is no black king to moving over to the f3 square. Now, I reckon Wesley wants to do like a sort of like perpetual check, but it's not going to work because king c2 attacks the rook and defends the pawn. Exactly right, king c2, exactly as we said. Now, rook to a3 wants to play rook a2, but f2 is currently defended, and you can't bring a second attacker because the black king is being cut off by the white rook. So now, king is free to go, and this guy is free to go. Well, depends what area of the United Kingdom they are. I think those guys that you're talking about in the Peaky Blinders, they are from Birmingham. So yeah, it's the accent from that particular place. So there are many areas, with different accents in England, at least. If you want to count in the Scotland and stuff, then you get completely different accents. Or Wales, which is an absolute different language. If you want to consider the Welsh language, probably one of the oldest languages in Europe, it's the Welsh, and so that's totally different language from the English language. So you're gonna have people, depends again on the area that they are residing in. So rook a2 checks the king now. King's got to go. And you will be playing probably king b3 or king b1. King b3, king b1. And then the black rook has to go. All right, the black rook goes after this guy. Pawn goes up the board because, exactly as we said, guys, you want to investigate this guy moving up the board and promoting. By the looks of it, I think white should be a bit better. Now, you can't push the pawn, I guess. Okay, he wants to trade off because he's going to get a queen. He wants to trade off the rooks. By the looks of it, white should be winning here, guys, I think. Rook takes, king takes. Well, white's winning if that were to happen. Now, I don't know. If this, king's going to go here. No, he chose to take it. If you move, that's difficult. Check, king goes here. Draw. Takes. And takes, and this guy goes down. I think should be a draw. Now it's a draw, right? Yes, that is a draw now. Okay, guys, I think that's a draw. And luckily, people, we're going to be witnessing the third round today, I guess. So, yeah, they're going to be a draw, right? You still have to play this one carefully. Well, I think Anish now is super happy to having a draw here because I don't think what you can do. He had a pawn at some point. I'm not fully convinced he did do the best ever choices. We could actually inquire with the engine at the end. There was a difficult position to assess. There was a difficult ending. A difficult ending to assess it. He had a passed pawn, you see. He had an extra pawn. Rook g8, that's check. Okay. Probably gonna be they just drew. There you go. There you go. Guys, do you know something? Let me just go a couple of moves back. Let's go a couple of moves back and check what was that thing with that extra pawn. Okay. Is this still a draw-ish here? It's still a draw, says the almighty Stockfish 16. Or Stockfish 14, I don't know which one is on my machine. Okay. Okay, there was a gap though, somewhere. It was a +7 or -0.7. What the heck was that? Wait, that's still a draw, right? Why did I say that -0.7? Oh, maybe I just projected. Maybe there wasn't no -0.7. Okay, now it's pretty much a draw at this stage. I thought that that extra pawn on the C file could have been something though. Check, but it's not. Check. Okay, so, oh, okay, okay. Here is the moment. Here is the moment. Well, it's always easy when you check with the machine, right? This particular moment apparently is what white would have needed to play in order to convert and in order to create two passed pawns. And that makes all the difference. There is only one move, and he was sort of supposed to be finding it in 39 seconds or 40 seconds if you want. Hello, Wesley. So rook to d7 with 40 seconds on the clock. Okay, 39 seconds on the clock to be more precise. 39 seconds on the clock, and he didn't find it. It was a bit difficult. So rook d7, rook a2 check, king to b3, obviously move out of check. Rook takes f2, rook d4. So the engine tells us that rook d7 is the winning move. Bang, boom, takes, and this. Because, long story short, even if black attempts to push this pawn, you should be able to probably sack an exchange for that pawn, and then you're going to have two pawns which will convert in a queen. And then even if black rook tries to, even if they sack an exchange, you're going to have the other pawn. So that would be the plan. To my understanding, my friends, that would be the plan for white to win. And it's not an easy find with 40 seconds. A super grandmaster like Hanish Giri didn't find it. I don't know how many of us would have found it. I don't know how many of us. I don't play the London system very much. I know of it. I think it's very solid. It's absolutely super solid. The London system is very solid for white, and you're super safe, and you do the same kind of stuff pretty much regardless of what black chooses to play. But I'm an e4 player. I'm an e4 player. Yeah, so that was a very good stuff that happened. Oh, by the way, let me check when they do the next one. So round number 3 is supposed to be starting in 11 minutes. So guys, if you want to look at some of the stuff you personally played, I think we might have a few minutes to looking at. Also, I might need to go grab a tea or a coffee just to try to keep myself going for the third round, guys, which will start in 10 or 11 minutes. Yeah, I'm playing a lot of E4 nowadays, and incredibly rarely I do D4. Very rarely D4. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with neither of the two propositions, E4, D4. You can go C4. Hey, you could try pretty much everything. You could try many things. Yeah, I think we're gonna. I am going to go get a cup of coffee, guys. And in the meantime, if you can sort out this puzzle, you could let us know. Everyone know here. What do you reckon black should be playing? So black has to play here. All right. I'm a little bit attracted by the rook taken on e4. So there'll be a check, right? There'll be a check, and I'm checking the king. I'm removing the white rook's defender. The rook's being attacked by the black king. So I'm really attracted by the rook captures e4. Yeah, it's very complex, Yash. I agree with you. It is very complex indeed. So yeah, e4, e5, and you get in a huge universe of possibilities. Uh, Anything may happen afterwards. You gotta prepare the Karo Khan. You gotta prepare very many things. Very many things. E4. Uh, After e4, that is. After e4, it could be c6. I mean, if the other guy plays e4, you have to get yourself a Karo Khan. You gotta get yourself a French. Get yourself a Spanish, Italian. There's so many things that may happen. Uh, yeah. So for the e4 white player, they need to have something prepared against the Caracan, against the French, against the Sicilian, against the Spanish, and black has to prepare e4, e5. Black has to prepare King's Gambit, Danish Gambit, Scotch Gambit. There's many things indeed. I agree. So let me take on e4, and I guess that's the way to win. Rook e4. And that's a check, and then you might just take this guy. Yeah. Okay, but they block this way. Wait a second. That's actually something subtle here, right? I don't want to trade because if I trade, it's going to be a draw. So that's not going to work. We need to find another way. It's either this, king to e5, rook takes, king takes. And that's it. It's king e5. King e5, rook takes. Because I'm attacking twice the rook, and the rook is pinned, can't move, say, up the board or something. So king e5, rook takes, king takes, and that's just about it. Yes, I was correct. And now, yeah, that's good. Whatever happens, I am going to be able to pushing my guys, and I should be able to win here with the black king and the pawn. Most importantly, this guy is going to become a queen sooner or later. Okay, so that was one puzzle. Okay, another puzzle here probably has to do with the rook and the bishop attacking on g2. Bishop and rook. So definitely has to do with g2, which is a check and then a discover check. So you take with the rook, you check the king, king goes h1. Then you're probably winning a bishop, or there's something. Wait a minute. No, you play rook f2. You play rook f2. So, guys, you know something weird about this position? It's rook g2, king goes in a corner, and then you're going to play rook f2, blocking the rook. You check with the bishop, discover check. Bishop blocks, and then you take with the bishop. But then the king goes back on g, right? No, wait a minute. Or maybe not. They very good, all of them, Wesley. They all very good, you know, as long as you do them consistently and as long as you understand what you did and you're having a plan and you manage to find a solution, they're all good. Online puzzles, chess books, magazines, whatever you're using, you know, you might be old school and you go with the magazines and stuff or books, it's fine. But there's nothing wrong with the online puzzles that you can find on the servers. On Chess, like for instance, you have unlimited puzzles for free, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It's an incredibly positive thing. So, rook to g2, king to h1, right? So, what do you do next? Could you do rook? Could it be rook g4 so you stop the bishop? Check, and then rook has to play in the yeah. Oh my God! Look at the craziness of it. It's actually rook g2, king h1, rook g4. It's rook g4. It's an incredibly counter. What? No, it's rook g4 because you got to stop the bishop from blocking your bishop, Mosen. So rook g2. Here my plan first. I mean, I might be wrong. But here's my plan. Rook g4 because you must stop bishop f3. And at the same time, you do check with the bishop. So it's going to be checkmate, actually. Rook g4, you block the bishop. Rook blocks, which is just a delay, by the way. It doesn't mean anything. Then bishop takes f3, and that's a checkmate. Very counterintuitive. It's stuff that you wouldn't expect, you know. It looks so weird. So weird. But actually, you do deliver checkmate in the end. Yes. Yes. Very, very unexpected indeed, guys. So, I'm going to go for that cup of coffee. SuperUnited Croatia 2024. Round number 3 in only 4 minutes. Who you rooting for, guys? Is there anyone in particular? Well, I like all the games, really. I don't know. So I'm going to give myself a cup of coffee then. And okay, I'll be returning in 3 minutes, guys. Alright guys, so we've returned now. Let's stop the engine. Let me refresh the page. Mosen, copy paste your link and put it once here. So get your link with your Twitch. Drop it here if you think it might help to any extent. And just to avoid spamming, don't do it every 2 minutes. So just put it once, leave it here. And if folks want to follow your link, that's fine, man. That's okay. So 24 seconds they should be starting. Okay. MVL Wesley. Let's have a look at this one. Have we stopped the engine? Yes, we did. Have we? Okay, let's just leave it like that, I guess. So, my friends, no engines during the live games. We're going to be using our own minds, and at the end of it, we can double check definitely if things could have been and were correct as we have evaluated them. Now, probably they're not going to start straight away, right? It's going to take a bit of time. Let's see, what did I do? SuperUnited Croatia Rapid. Nepomniachtchi. Levonoronian White. Nepo Black. Firouzja Fabi. That's another one. Fabi Black. No, Fabi is actually playing with the white pieces. Alireza playing with blacks. Okay. It's just the rapid is 20 minutes. Well, they haven't started, so I think we should be just doing a puzzle at this stage. Okay. I like this idea. I like this check here. Because it's a forcing move, because I'm checking, king sort of has to take. And then you might have a check here, and that's important. And if they move back, well, you could have then queen, but then king's gonna move here. So what exactly did you do? Well, then you're gonna have a check here. Wait a minute. Is there any other check available? Nah, that's too slow. You have to act now, and probably you gotta act like this. But what's the follow-up? Oh, that's actually not good, because once they do this, it's the rook that attacks the black king, so actually you're getting in serious trouble. If you play this king to c2, bishop's gonna block with check here. So I think you're pretty much toast. If you do queen to c2, you're losing. So it's gotta be another thing. Probably queen. Either this or that. Or maybe rook. Maybe rook actually. Rook, yes, of course the rook, sorry. Yeah, there is this, but it don't matter. It's checkmate afterwards. Yes, it's a rook g4, f4, rook takes f4. Well, king can still take, right? But after this is going to be checkmate. Oh, well. Wait a second. Well, I think that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I think exactly like this. Wait. Yeah. Okay, that's fine by me. Is there any difference if we take with the queen or if we take with a pawn? There is a difference. These two guys, it's got to be like this. Okay, we were lucky with this. Where's the games? I can't see them anywhere. They haven't moved anything, guys. They haven't moved anything. F3. Nothing had started just yet. Nothing had started. Can't see anything here. Can't see anything. Alright, let's try another one. That's a nice ending. I think this particular one refers to a pawn majority here. So you gotta make sure that the rook had disappeared. Then you're gonna march on with this guy and march on again. Oops. So rook takes, king takes, g3 to g4, because you wanna play this. And if they capture, it doesn't even matter, you're gonna go with this guy. But everything has to start with rook c1 takes on c2. And now you gotta play this and that. You have to. You have to. You're gonna go forwards. Haven't I followed you? Okay. Thanks for putting the link there, Mosen Chess. Yeah, I'm gonna follow it myself as well. Yeah. Bingo. So there's no point in actually taking this black pawn. There's no point. You just go and get yourself queen in only 3 steps. Yeah, so it was a pawn majority. If I am to go back, I understood that there was actually a pawn majority here. And this guy has to be traded, and then you just, exactly, that's how you do it. You're welcome, man. I hope it helps to any extent. I'm going to be following you myself, that's okay. Okie dokie. So what have we gotten here now? Ah, they started. They started, guys. Cool. Hey, I don't want to see no engine here. Okay, cool. Queen being attacked. Queen go away to c2. Fabi. Knight f3. Bishop d3. What do you play here? This guy's going to come here anytime soon. Anyway, black's to play. Do you play e6? Do you play e6? Or do you play g6? e6. The bishop is free to go. Bishop d3. Exactly right. What do you play with the bishop? Do you play bishop to b4 or do you play bishop to e7? Also, this black knight here is a little bit awkward where they currently are. Okay. Knight f3, rook c8 had been played. Knight f3 probably announcing castle short here. That's going to be for sure castle short. And probably castle short for black as well. Okay, that looks interesting. And also there is a possible bishop g5 that might happen. Knight d5, bishop g5. I'm not sure about this one though here. Let me think. a3, this guy takes a take with a pawn. Knight c4. Okay, castle short exactly as I said. Now this, or this. It could be bishop g5. So I'm going to give you 4 candidate moves. I'm not playing this one, but I'm just looking at it and try to figure out a possible way to continue from this point onwards. So it could be a3, rook c, bishop g5. I did say bishop g5, one of my 4 candidate moves. Bishop g5, pinning the knight to the queen. Always a good idea to make a pin. If you can make a pin, do a pin. h6, no reason for you to trade. Maintain the pin, go to h4. If there's anything funny, you're going to drop bishop g3, but that will weaken terribly the king, so the black king. So normally black does not push g5 because it weakens very much. So that's not going to happen. It could be though, knight c4, right? It could be knight c4. It could be bishop e7. I know it's a bit uncomfortable, but probably bishop e7 to just break the pin, so to speak, and making sure you're not going to have any problem with moving that knight. Unless you want to play rook f8 and maintain the status quo. Play rook f8. But I hate the pins. I really do hate pins. So, okay, rook f8, bishop e7. If I was myself here, I would play bishop e7 because I don't want to be in a pin. Yeah. What can I say? G5. Can I still do G5 though? But G5 is the perfect invitation for white here to eventually sack an exchange if G5 were to happen. G5, knight takes, H takes G5, bishop takes G5. G5 is risky. Moser chess, if you're talking about bishop b4 was playable at that time, but now looking at the position and seeing the pin, I guess you might be considering getting the bishop back on e7 to break the pin. That might be bishop e7. Yeah, maybe bishop e7 back. G5. Man, G5. It's the way to break the pin. Now, that means very many things, my friends. G5 broke the pin, but this pawn structure, H6, G5, is very fragile. So there is always the chance that white will be playing H4. Notice now the knight on e4 further pressurizes the c3, which, by the way, my friends, black attacks c3 three times. 3 times. And you're defending it only twice. So you may want to investigate some rook over to c, but bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. That's not going to help, is it? So you have to take the black knight now with the bishop. You have to remove the black knight with the bishop. And after pawn takes, you gotta take it from there. Maybe knight d2, maybe knight e5. I'm not sure. I need to spend some time to actually think this one through properly. So let me erase all the paint here. Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly as I said, bishop takes e4, pawn takes, and now you have to analyze if it's this or if it's this. I'm not sure you want to play knight e1. It's painful. You can't play knight f3 to e1. That's going to be a disaster. Getting the piece on the back rank, you can't do that. So one of these two, it's either knight e5 or knight d2. You name it. To both of them, black may play this. Surprisingly, you can't take again because the knight on c3 is pinned. There you go. So knight e5 or knight d2 could be responded with bishop e5, attacking the rook, so to speak. There is something. So if black had decided to play h6 g5, they had admitted, Alireza admitted already that those guys will be attacked with h4. As soon as white gets a chance, as soon as white gets a respite from the black's onslaught, white is going to challenge with h4. That's exactly what's going to happen. Sooner or later, I'm telling you. I think I would personally opt for knight d2. Reason being, knight d2. Oh, what did I do? Reason being that knight on d. Oh, what am I? Knight on d2 looks for attacking this guy again. Forces them, maybe forces them to play f5, and also keeps an eye on c4, sort of if black knight were to play on c4, you're going to take it back with the knight on d2 takes on c4. So that might be a thing. Knight d2, knight c4, knight takes, rook takes, maybe. Yeah, I think knight d2 is the safest bet here for white to play. Definitely knight d2. I don't know what you think about this one, guys, but I think I would go knight d2. And not an easy choice, though, because Fabi still thinks about what to play. So it's not an easy choice to do now. But I guess knight d2. Shall we look at, let's see, what else have we got in here? Great, great, great games. Let's look at this one. Levon Aronian with Nepo. Ooh, whose turn is now? White's turn to play. What is this knight doing on h4? Anyway. My god. Where do you go with that guy? Can you go here and then here? Knight f5, you attack the bishop, which is very active attacking on h2 and stuff. So knight f5 actually I think makes sense. f3, sorry, f3 he played. Interesting. You attack the bishop though. The bishop now is going to go either e6 or h5. I'm not sure you want to move the bishop back on c8. It's just too much. You're not going to do this. So bishop h5, g4, bishop g6. Knight takes? H takes. Okay. I'm not sure. Bishop e6, on the other hand, stops the rook from attacking the backward pawn on e3. I'm not sure that's very appealing either. Maybe after all, bishop h5, g4, bishop g6, knight takes g6, h takes g6. Okay. I guess. Bishop h5, bishop g6. I think I like this idea. Yeah, definitely. As per this game, let's go to back to this one. What did they do actually here? Wait a second. What did they play? There was a couple of things happened here. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes c4, believe it or not. Queen takes c4, dropping the c3. So I guess the compensation is, my friends, for white, this. If you can find something more aggressive than this, let me know. h4. I try to find the reason behind dropping the c3 pawn and not playing knight d2. I'm not sure knight f3, knight d2 would have been better or not, but anyway, here we are now. And I guess h4. So black king is the weakest on the G and H file, so white should try to take advantage of. Yeah, you can always play rook AC, or stuff like this. I'm not sure. H4 though. H4, probably. H4. So these are my candidate moves that I've highlighted with the green arrows here. And that's what I would consider if I were white here. But it might be some others too. Maybe I'm not seeing them or anything. There might be some other ideas. Isn't that surprising? D4 to D5. Now, D4 to D5 means very many things. Stopping for the time being the bishop to coming on C6. Challenging here. Then you're gonna have to move the queen, I guess. Queen e d5, queen d5, bishop c6. Where do you go? You're not gonna trade, right? You could go queen f5. E d5, queen d5, bishop c6, queen f5, moving away from the bishop, but also bishop takes f3, g takes f3. Or maybe queen takes f3, and then coming over to h5. That's definitely an idea. Takes, bishop plays, queen f5, bishop takes, queen takes. Makes sense? And then, of course, you always have the bishop e5 or knight e5, depends what is more important for you to consider. Plenty of time, so black took, Alireza took, queen takes. The problem is bishop c6 or bishop e6 next. That's the ping. You'd be inclined to say it's bishop c6 because bishop c6 attacks along this diagonal, which is very important and quite aggressive. So, queen takes. Or don't tell me you don't even take. Like, you're going to play what? You have to take the pawn, right? You have to take the pawn. Queen takes d5. Queen takes d5, bishop c6 and bishop queen f5, and that's cool. Now, let's find out what was Fabi's plan, because I don't know what's his plan. I thought he already got a plan. He went queen d4. He didn't take the pawn. He went queen d4, pressure on the black rook. This guy is stuck for the time being, so the bishop playing either c6 or e6 is not going to achieve nothing. Queen attacks the rook with tempo. What do you play? Do you play queen c7? Or do you play rook c4? So many questions. So black queen has to move. Nope. That was a mouse slip. That didn't happen. Either this, or you go back, you play rook c4. Oh, which one is it? Queen c7. No, you can't play queen c7. There is a bishop there. You can't play queen c7. That's a disaster. Queen c8 or rook c4. Queen c8, protecting the rook, or rook c4, attacking the queen, forcing queen takes d5, right? It's not forcing. You could still play queen b2 if you want to, but it's weird. Now you're going to take the pawn. Queen c8, defending the rook, and then queen takes on d5. I'm still not sure. It could be queen c8, could be knight or bishop. Like in terms of bishop h8 and then queen g7 checkmate. Queen c8, bishop here, rook, I don't know where. If queen c8. If queen c8, bishop to e5. Makes sense. Rook c8. But if it's this, we're going to have this, but then there is this, queen d5 check. So I guess bishop e5 is playable anyway. Bishop e5, think this is very playable. Including bishop g7. Sorry. Bishop e5. I will do bishop e5 here. I think that's the strongest move. You could always do this. Or you could do this, rook ac1, h4. These are playable, but I think my first choice would be bishop e5. It should be okay. Bishop a5. So three big candidate moves: bishop e5, h4, rook ac1. So these are my candidate moves for white here. There could be some others. I doubt is taking the black pawn on d5, because if he wanted to take it, he would have taken it already. Bishop e5. Let's go and see quickly some other games. So that is Fabi Alireza. Let's have a look here. Levon Aronian with Jan Nepomniachtchi. White's turn to play. I don't like this pawn here, blocking the bishop. But what do you do? If you're playing something like b3, b4 for bishop b2, there is always rook ac8. That's a weird position. I don't want to have the white pieces here. First thing first, I don't know what to do with the bishop on c1. In all honesty, I'm telling you guys, I don't know what to do with the bishop on c1. What do you get there, bishop? What do you play with that bishop? The e3 is a backward weak pawn. You've got to defend that one. It's being attacked by two pieces currently, as we speak. How do you defend the e3? I think you need to consider e4, e4, and if d4, you're going to have to play knight to d5, knight takes, pawn takes. I guess you got to go for e4 here. You could play rook d to e1, but are you happy with? And when you push e4, you're also having bishop g5 afterwards. If there isn't afterwards, okay, queen b3. Goes for b7 now. There's also knight a5 here. Defending and attacking the queen. How do you play? Against knight a5, that is. Knight a5, queen attacked, b7 defended. I don't know, queen a4? It's weird anyway. Maybe. And this guy gonna be taken, right? Bishop takes, rook takes. I don't know if you're happy with this. guess you can go on knight a5. Knight a5, what do you play? Queen a4. Maybe, and then e3 is being taken anyway. I guess the best reply is knight a5. I don't know what else. Yeah, I like knight a5. Or maybe there is other tactical resource I'm not aware of. Okay. Knight a5. We'll see about that one because we're going to come back at this. So let's have a look at this one quickly here. Vidit black. Ivan Saric is with the white pieces here. Hey, the black king shouldn't be there. Guys, I've noticed something interesting. This is a game in which Vidit keeps the king uncastled. I think he paid the price in the previous round, number 2. He had a very bad position in which the king was right in the very middle. And yet again now, I'm looking at this game and I can't believe that actually Vidit has the king on the e file where the white rook is. I don't know what to say. I mean, he shouldn't have the king there. That king should be castled. But I guess Ivan Saric will do his best to try to dismantle those pawns. And look at this beautiful move. If you take, knight's going to take further pressure here. There is pressure everywhere. I don't even know. Wow, there's a lot of pressure. So, you know, Mo's in chess, I'm just watching in disbelief how Vidit in this second match, well, no, in the third round, he still keeps the king uncastled. This is very unexpected. It's so unexpected. So now if black takes, which I think is a disaster, if black were to take, knight takes back with further pressure on e7. Knight can't play really, because if knight plays, we're going to take on e7 with the rook, checking the king and just simply taking the queen afterwards. So cd5 is not going to work for black. It's not working. I don't know what Vidit is doing with that king. I don't know. Nothing is appealing. I mean, even if you consider something like king d8, it's a disaster. As soon as white gets the other rook over to the d file, I think you're in deep, deep, deep trouble here with black. I don't know what you're doing, but there is a thing here. There's many things taking place. I think Vidit is going to get cooked again here. Should he castle long now? As a matter of desperation? If you castle long, there is f7 hanging. And you know what is interesting here, guys? You don't even have to bother taking on g2, the black pawn. You could take it later on if you want to. You don't have to bother about that guy. You just need to develop your pieces and increasing the pressure. You gotta play this bishop. Probably g5, probably f4. Yes, Mo's in chess, I agree. Black is in deep trouble here with a lot of pressure on the pin piece. Well, there is only one attacker, but it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more shortly. Rook a d8 he played. I think Ivan Saric now has to simply play the bishop somewhere. It looks interesting, this or that. Because then you can get the rook over to the d file. That is why I'm saying it's quite interesting to playing bishop g5 maybe with tempo. If black wants to play f6, I think it's a disaster. You're going to drop down bishop to f4, and again rook a d1 is going to happen. And I think you're in deep trouble. You're in serious deep trouble here with black. Boy, oh boy. So bishop g5, f6, bishop f4. and then rook a d1, and I think black has a problem. Black has a problem here. Hey, Charlie, good to see you, man. How's it going? Yeah, just covering this chess event here, the SuperUnited Croatia. We're looking at this Super Grandmasters. Thanks for stopping by the way, Charlie. How's it going, man? How's your stream going? Oh, you're streaming a lot on Facebook, right? I noticed that. You're streaming a lot on Facebook, and I don't know if you're a partner or something, but you could multi-broadcast, really, Charlie. You could, use a software and go for like 4 or 5 platforms at once. But anyway, maybe you've got a contract with Facebook or something. And yeah. Yeah, so I'm multi-broadcasting actually. I think it's the best stuff to do. Right, so now I think Vidit is in trouble here. I guess you could even play bishop f4, but bishop g5 is a bit more attacking, a bit more. I got it. Okay. Okay, I understand. Well, I'm not a partner yet, so I'm free to multi-broadcast at the minute. So I'm just taking advantage of this softwares and just going 4 or 5 platforms at once. I could even go for more platforms if I want to, if I spend a few more money. But I think 4 platforms is enough for the time being. Anyway. Yeah, I'm also enjoying covering these chess events. I'm sorry I don't have enough time to cover even more, but anyway. Yeah. If I'm not streaming, probably I'm going to do some YouTube videos and one of these too. And bishop g5, there you go, guys. Bishop g5, straight away, exactly as I had anticipated. Bishop g5 was my first choice here to play for white. And there you go, he played it. f6 is not going to work for black. He's just looking very pessimistic here. You're weakening terribly the white king on the black king on the white squares. You don't have space for the knight to go anywhere. And even if you go h6, bishop's going to take, and then you're going to have a horrible, horrible black pawn structure. I'm not sure how strong I am than you, Charlie. Something like 2000 Lee Chess, the Blitz, and the Rapid 2200 on chess.com, and 2160 on Lee Chess. So yeah, the Rapid is higher than the Blitz. The Blitz is like 2000, and the my Rapid is like 22. And the FIDE official, the last one was 1752. So that's fine. That's fine. We're just enjoying the game, Charlie. We're just enjoying the game. And that's absolutely fine. And now, guys, I would suggest rook a d1, because that's where the queen is. So rook a d1 is just great, because it threatens something like c6. It's just, this is the move. Wait a minute, let me think actually. Rook a d1, bishop takes, right? But you're gonna take. So queen goes c7. Nah. Bishop takes e7, knight takes e7. If you take on e7 now, guys. I see. So he took actually on c6 with tempo, attacking the black queen and challenging the white queen now. Well, you could take the bishop with tempo, but knight's gonna take. Queen takes, pawn takes. And then I suppose you're gonna play rook a d. Or do you decline to trading the queens? If you decline trading queens, the only stuff you've got available is bishop takes e7. There you go. Bishop takes e7. Checks. Knight takes. And now what are you going to play? If you want to avoid trading the queens, you have to go for something like this. No, he goes for the checkmate. Ivan Saric is a serious guy. He goes for the checkmate. So you can take the white queen if you want, but then rook d1 to d8, simply checkmate, guys. That's phenomenal. The white rooks are fully developed, maximum efficiency. It's a phenomenal stuff that played by Ivan Saric. Not impossible to be seen, of course, but look at the efficiency. All the white pieces, yes, exactly right, Charlie. All the white pieces, the white pieces, all of them fully developed, fully attacking, maximum efficiency, and anytime could be a queen. Doubling up on this guy here on e7. But anyway, black needs to take a decision about that rook. Again, if rook captures, you take back with the rook. You need not worry about a queen because there is again the checkmate on the back rank. It's very nice. Really, really, really. So rook takes d1, rook e takes d1, and if queen f3, again, rook d8, checkmate. So you've got the necessary tempo to deliver back rank. And black will have to spend 1 or 2 tempi, actually. Black has to spend, I don't know when, something like g6, king g7 in order to connect the two black rooks. So he still needs to work out a way to getting those rooks connected. Might going to take a while. Whereas white is super happy in terms of pieces development. Very instructive, very nice rapids they playing. Very instructive. All right, guys, let's go to Nepomniachtchi 11 Aronian. Let's see this one. Let's see this one here. Knight to c1. What is this mess here? Knight to c1. What is this guy? This is so advanced. This black pawn on d3 is coming down the board here. Black's turn, mind you. Black's turn to play. So you got a bishop here. You got this guy. Would you push? But no, because the other guy is hanging. You can't do that. Would you take? Okay, rook takes then. And then what do you do with this pin? Does it matter? Well, of course it matters, but... I would say white enjoys the bishop pair advantage. The problem is this pass pawn. If you can get rid of that pass pawn, you should be okay. But it's easier said than done. So the bigger problem for white is this black pawn on d3. If you manage to take that guy off the board, you should be okay. Especially because you've got those two guys. The bishops, I mean. And that's really good. But let's see how he's gonna deal with the d3 black pawn. And by the way, Ian's turn now, so black's the move. What do you play? Okay, black knight takes, then you're gonna have to take with this rook. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay. The beautiful bishop on h3 takes away the c8, so there is no black rook to play over to the c file. I think it's looking promising. It's a very good game. It's a very good ending. I enjoy this ending, this middle game tactics now. There you go, knight takes on c1, exactly. Now rook bc. You don't want to take with the rook on the d because you actually want to keep the rook to just stopping this guy. So you're going to play rook b to c here. Rook b1 to c1. There you go. Not a huge philosophy, right? We would say. Rook b to c. It can't push. It can't push because they're going to drop the pawn. challenging this bishop. And also, the question is, do you take on f6 or do you play something like bishop f4, bishop f4, bishop d2? What are you going to play? Bishop takes f6, I kind of like it because I'm messing up those pawns. Maybe I'm able to get this bishop to attack this guy at some point. Anyway, I'm going to play something like this, but there is bishop d4. But then I'll take with the rook and I have double attack on the d8. I think it's workable. I think it's workable if bishop takes on f6. I think it's working. For white, that is. I think it might work. You take the knight with tempo, though. Bishop takes f6, g takes f6. And then what? If you play rook c3, they're going to push one more time. Then you go rook c2, then they're going to play this. It's actually not that easy. No, it's not. I wonder if this bishop on g5 actually wouldn't serve the purpose to just stop this pawn to going one more time. So you need to keep that bishop along this diagonal, actually. After all, you have to play bishop f4, bishop d2. No, he took on f6. Okay. Now, how do you take this guy? Okay, rook c7, attacking b7 and stuff, but this pawn's going to go down. Yeah, there is no rook c8, I get it. But there is a pass pawn here. Interesting. And you can't move the king anywhere because there is this guy. But rook b8 probably can be played. Rook b8 and defending the b7. Rook b8, b7 being protected. And you don't want to drop that pawn, do you? So rook b8. I guess it's incredibly important to defend b7, right? So rook b8 and then take it from there. But rook b8 has to be played. Unless you want to play something weird like bishop d4. No, you can't play this because rook b7 and you can't take on b2. It's not going to work. Rook b8 afterwards. Rook b8. You guys tell me if you think differently. If you think there is a better plan for black to play here, please do type it in. Yeah, rook b8 though. Yeah, you can't afford losing the b7 black pawn. So Ian bloody chose to push the pawn. So I reckon now after rook b7, he's going to play this. That's definitely the case. And Levon has to struggle because this is a very advanced, dangerous black pawn supported by the bishop, which probably going to go on g5 if there's anything, but you can't even attack it. Bishop to d7, attacking the rook now on e8. So rook has to go. What's going on here? He cut off the rook from defending the pawn and attacks this rook. And if you play rook e7, I'm going to take with this guy. It's crazy. Wow. So bishop d7 stops the black rook from defending the pawn. And he attacks actually the black rook on e8 with tempo. The black rook on e8 has to move. If you play rook e7, if black plays rook e7 to attack this guy twice, white rook on d1 is going to take on d2. Fascinating. Bishop d7, rook e7, rook takes d2. Yeah, why not? And then if there's any problem, rook takes b7, you're going to be on you're going to put your rooks on the white squares. Or whatever happens, you move on the white squares. They're very resourceful, these guys are really resourceful. Rook e7, rook d2. Looks to me now, if you don't play rook e7, you're going to have to play rook f8. Are you happy with rook f8? I don't think so. I don't think Ian can do this. It's like you move the rook back where they were. On the other hand, can you play rook e7? I think you can, and you probably should. Rook e7, rook e7, rook takes d2. You just dropped your pawn. You lost your passed pawn, which probably wasn't the best stuff to push it forwards. Yeah, I don't think you should have pushed that pawn forwards. It was a bit too premature. Rook e5. Now, if you don't take on d2, I don't know what else you do. You have to take. Very, exactly. Rook takes d2. You had to take. Just goes for the checkmate. That's it. He wants to go rook c1. Checkmate, so you gotta take and bishop takes. Yes. Okay. Now you need to make sure you get this rook maybe on a line square. Perhaps you can play something like bishop e5. I'm not sure. Actually, no, that's dangerous. You gotta push an h3 first, maybe. Or rook d3 first. Which one you do? Which one do you do? Rook d3 or h3 or h4 or g3, g4 in order to play king to g2 and stuff like this. There will be a big blunder, king h7, because of this, and then discovered. Of course, that's not going to happen at this level. It happens in our bullet games, that's for sure. It's not going to happen with this, guys. Anyway, it's Levon's turn, so he's got to move something. g4, just to get king g2. I mean, just to avoid any back rank. Although, do you know what's the danger here? Black might play king f8 and king e7, attacking this guy twice. That's the problem. So you got to be prepared against that idea. Honestly, black only needs 2 moves to attack that bishop, that pin bishop, twice. He needs only 2 moves. 2 tempi, king f8 and king e7. Knowing this, how is white going to save against this double attack on the pin piece? How do you play against this? How do you play against this? This is the plan. This is black's plan. You gotta find a way. g4. No, it doesn't work. Rook d3, king f7. Bishop b5. No, wait a minute. It's weird. Rook d3, king f8, bishop b5, rook c8. I think you got a problem. Or maybe you don't. Bishop f1. Pin. You move here. No, you can't. There is a bishop. Actually, that's a problem. It is a problem. I'm not sure it works. It doesn't work. How do you get out of this mess? g4, king f8. Oh, that's sweet. Okay, g4 now. It's got to be g4, right? Or g3. Hell, could be anything. It could be very many things. a4, okay. stopping any b5, which probably wouldn't have happened. King wants to come to e7 regardless. Black king wants to play on e7 anyway. King e7, then you're gonna play this guy, I don't know, maybe f5? Keep an eye on the c. Nope. You play bishop e6 now. If you capture, there is a rook for the grab. So, that doesn't work. Okay. 4-2-6, 2-3-5. White should be winning long term. That's interesting, but white is having 3 minutes 50 seconds, so they gotta be a bit faster. Other than that, the position is more promising for white. Okay, you can't put this guy on a dark square because there is a bishop on a dark square. They could push, they push. Okay, maybe. Maybe. Okay, g3, allowing king to g2. There you go. a5, these guys are on dark squares. They are not attackable by the bishop. King to g2, of course. King g7. Can you do f4 on king f3? You want to get the king closer. So probably going to have to decide f4. White to play f4. f5. King f3. Bishop g1. h3. Is this a draw? You don't need to worry about bishop c1 because there is always b3 going, so there's not a problem. It's not a problem. On the other hand, the black king has to stay to defend the f7 constantly from the bishop. So you can't venture with the king far away because f7 is hanging, is being attacked all the time. f4, there you go. That's what I would have played. King f3. That's exactly what I said. Then something else interesting here, guys. Yeah, okay, the bishop goes, I said including that one. The white king would like to play, I think, f5 or h5. Okay, g4 first. Bishop c5. How do you play this? Do you play e5? Do you play e5? Because if you play f5, how are you going to get the king to attack actually the weaknesses? Ideally, you should have the white king attack in f7 somehow. Okay, so he attacks you here, you see. If you push the pawn, you gave up on all the dark squares. I think you need to do a long journey with the white king. First, you need to make sure that the f4 will not get captured. So you're going to have to play something like... Okay, so king e3, check. King d3 now. And if the bishop goes back, you're going to push this guy, right? No, he defends with king f3. He defends with king f3. Oof. I gotta close this. Oh. How does white make progress? You're making progress if you manage to get the white king to attack the f7 twice. So that's the progress. On the other hand is, do you leave the f4? Do you push f5? If you push f5, okay, b3, it's more like a waiting move. h5, shutting off the king. Are you going to push this guy? Yes. Now you could try and do this. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you try to get the king to attack f7 twice. That's the only way to make him progress. The black king needs to stay to defend f7 all the time, but also the king on f8 defends against white king getting closer. So how exactly are you going to breach? I think he wants to go this way. King c4, king b5. Of course, the bishop is going to defend via g1. They're going to be defending b6 anyway. King goes and going to go like this. It's definitely worth taking a shot here. King to b5 and then king to c6 and see if it works. King b5, king c6, king c7. How do you make this guy move away? I'm not sure. Yeah, king c6 and black is going to play those two, you know, like bishop f2, bishop g1 all the time. Guys, I think this is going to be a draw now because black is going to move the bishop. And that's all he ever going to do and nothing else. I'm not sure how white is going to make any progress here with anything. So you can't get the king to attack f7 twice. Black is not going to move the black king anywhere away from defending f7. And you can't do anything. It's not very clear. Do you want to play this and that? Takes, takes, takes. You're not going to make any progress here. I think it's a draw. I think it's a draw. This one is a draw, guys. I don't think you could do anything. There's no way to force anything. I think that's a draw. Okay, maybe we should be looking at something else because this one is probably a draw as it stands. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to make any progress here. Ivan Saric and Vidit. Vidit was in a very dire position now. The white queen pins the knight, being attacked twice. Black needs to defend. But also this guy is a little bit hanging. No, it's not. The black knight is in trouble. So you have to defend the knight. You can't move the knight. The knight is pinned absolutely. Can't move it anywhere. You need to defend it. The question is, how do you defend? If you play rook e5, you're going to run into this. Probably it's not going to work. I said it's not going to work, but that's exactly what Vidit plays. The reason I was a little bit reluctant to go for rook e5 is because of f4. I probably missed some tactics, right? Oh man. Knight c3. Also pressure on the rooks. So you have to take with the rook now. What is black going to play? He needs to defend this guy. But then it's going to happen this, then it's going to happen this. It's a bit critical for Vidit here. He gets himself into some position, right? Unbelievable. Black defends with the king now. How do you convert this? What do you play? You play this? Well, king's gonna go back. What exactly did you do? Do you do something else? Do you try knight e2 here? Knight e2 for this? Or you name it. No, king takes. Very interesting. Taking the pawn, placing yourself in a pin, but the black knight can't move because the black king is in check from the white queen, so that's an absolute pin. And black wants to push this guy one more time. And you can't take it because you break the pin and then you're going to lose the game, obviously. So he wants to play b4. It's unbelievable. You could play a3 though. You could play a3. You're going to stop b4. And you're going to keep the status quo. Then maybe move the king down or something. This is weird. I would go for a3 now. Nope. Knight takes d5, rook takes d5. Rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, king takes. Okay. Then you have the black king having to stay to protect the... Okay, he goes with the king to the center. He wants to attack the pin piece with the king. Okay, you got yourself a... What do you do? Do you take? Yeah, you're going to take. King's going to take. All right. So the black king has to stay with the black pawn to stop those two guys. In the meantime, you might be able to move up the white king and try to attack those guys from behind, so to speak, if the black king makes a maneuver. Anyway, they can't play now, so they gotta play this or this or this or this. Which one is it? G4. There's no F5. There's no F5. Because if you play F5, I'm gonna take, you're gonna take, then I'm gonna take your guy, I'm gonna win. So F5 is not playable. G5, yeah, you can play G5, but then E4, F5, and I'm gonna win again because I'm attacking F6. Again, the black king will be kept busy with the two white pawns on the queen side. So looks to me white is winning this. Ivan Saric looks like he's winning this. White is winning now. You remember, guys, that the old trick with the 3 pawns aligned with the 3 pawns and you push the guy in the middle? You're gonna force a breakthrough. White is winning. White is winning. Even if you play the 3 pawns versus 3 and then you push the G pawn, you're gonna win. There is no F5 again. White is winning this. There is no F5, there is no H5. Nothing really works for black, I'm afraid. I don't think that works. We got this or that. Which one is it? H4. Okay. What is black going to play now? I'm really curious. This takes. I'm going with this. I have one already. White is winning. I don't know what black plays, but white is winning, right? You can't save this position for black. Yeah, the pawn majority here. That extra pawn mattered so much. Oh, he resigned. He resigned. Of course. Of course he resigned. You can't save this. He resigned. Last seconds here. Gukesh and Anish. Two, 1, 3. Looks like white should be winning if everything gets traded now. Right? Let's see. Okay. It's not an easy win. It looks like white should be doing okay. It's not easy. And the problem is that they play with 30, 40 seconds on the clocks now, so it is really... Ooh. Rook takes, and actually black had created the pass pawn. I'm not sure what you're gonna do. Pressure on the pin piece. Pawn goes down. Queen defends the black pawn. Where do you go? Where do you go? You go here. There's gonna be this problem. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because knight takes. No, you can't take. It's absolutely pinned. Actually, it does work. Queen c3, bishop e5. It does work. Knight is pinned. Queen c3. This is a very difficult ending. Queen a4. Okay, queen is being attacked and the pawn is being attacked. Where do you move the queen? You have to move the queen now. You have to move the queen. Queen being attacked by the rook. Mm-hmm. Now you can take this guy, exactly. He took the pawn on c4 straight away, rook being pinned. Hmm. I think you can still play this. Rook takes, queen takes. Check. You take it, I'll take with check. And I attack your bishop. So that's check. And if you move here, we're going to do another check here. But then I guess you can... Okay, he blocked to the bishop. Bishop f8. A very difficult one. 20 seconds. All in all things considered, there is only one extra pawn for white, but you know, with this time on your clock, yeah, people might do just blunders because it's just not enough time. Double attack on f3. Queen on the rook. You're going to have to play the rook to defend, right? Sorry, you have to defend the knight. Oops, that's not what he played. Let me just refresh the page. They traded. How the hell did they trade it? Anyway, they traded. In that very second, I moved away. They already played the move. Knight attacks the rook now. Probably wanted to play e6, but rook f6 stops the knight. Okay, that's going to be another draw. I think it's going to be another draw. Even if you played this, exactly. You can't do this because it's going to be this. Although you could do check. You could do knight g5. That's going to be another draw. I think that's a draw. Bishop h6 wants to take this guy. You could do a check, but then king's going to move. You do another check. No, you can't do this because there is the knight, but you can take him. This. What do you play? No, you can't. What do you play? Check, check again. Well, I'm going to go away on f8 with the king. Check again. I'm going to go here. Knight f3. Let's see what I do. He moved away from being attacked by the bishop, that's for sure. Okay, rook stops you from playing knight e5. Do you play knight e4? I mean, what else? Knight e4 for knight c6 for this. What do you play? Okay, move the rook on a light square. First thing first, he moved the rook on a light square. So it can't be attacked by the bishop. The bishop on h6 can't attack the rook. Knight on g1. Where does he want to go? Why? You can't go on e2. You're going to go back on f3. There's no progress here. You're not going to make anything. He pushes the f. But it could be checks. Of course it could be checks. Maybe. Well, knight f3, knight g5, of course. And probably if there's any check, king's going to go over to h3 if there's any check. That's unexpected. King f3, I thought you want to play the knight. Yeah, rook a6. We did say that, rook a6. So, well, you can go via h3 though. Rook d3, stopping any check that might be coming. King's on white square, can't be checked by the bishop. Knight's gonna go on h3, then maybe knight or g5 or something. That looks okay. But then again, bishop h6 might happen, but then you're gonna have this thing again. Check again from the rook. Knight h3, knight g5, and a bishop takes. Probably it's gonna be a draw, right? Knight h3, okay. Does he want to do knight f2, knight e4? It's very difficult to capitalize here, even if you got an extra pawn. How exactly you gonna win this? Okay, knight f2, I did anticipate this for this. Knight f2 for knight e4 idea. I don't think, yeah. Well, what do you play? Knight e4. And then what? Okay, that's a pin, but also you could get checkable like this. So you're gonna go here, and then you're gonna go here. What do you play? And of course, the black king can defend and then attack you eventually. King f7, knight e3. It's gonna come knight to e5, check, and attacking on g6. But then again, I don't see how exactly you capitalize him. Knight e5. It's not an easy endgame here, Amerian. It's not an easy endgame, and white pawns are on dark squares. Anish Giri's bishop is on a dark square, so those pawns are attackable in principle. And now the knight is being pinned. You're gonna have to move the king to defend the knight, and I'm not seeing very clearly how exactly you're going to make a progress here. And now you're in check again, so you gotta drop it. They could pin your guy again. There you go. There you go, another pin. So how are you making progress here? So I said on many occasions, for the engine is always, so to speak, simple and straightforward. But for a human, it's incredibly difficult to find the right sequence. It's just one extra pawn and it's difficult. It's an open position, therefore the bishop thrives on open positions. And the bishop is strong. The black rook will check you, will pin your knight and things. You got to keep your guy also, look after the g3. So it's not an easy position to play. Neither for white nor for black. Probably rook a3 gonna go back. And again, you're gonna have to play the king. So I wouldn't be surprised if they will draw here. I think in this position, Amerian, I would draw if I were either black or white here, because I can't find any way to build up anything. It's going to be a draw. Yes, I agree. I agree with your idea. It's going to be a draw because you can't force anything. Maybe the engine can. After like 30 moves, maybe the engine saw something. But so ideally, if you get the rook to attack g6 and the knight to attack g6, how exactly are you going to do that? First, you're in a pin. Secondly, the bishop will take you, will just take your knight. So I'm not sure exactly how you're gonna win this with white. Probably you should draw. Probably they should draw. So this is the last game, by the way, in the round number 3. Okay, rook g5 looks after g6, guys. So attacks the g6. Okay, cool. That's cool. King defends. You can't play the knight because it's pinned. And whatever you try to move the king, they're going to check you again. So rook's going to check you. There you go. King going to have to move away again. Where do you move? You move here, they're going to check you. They're going to take your guy off. You're going to draw. King goes back. Rook a3. They're going to draw. That's it. That's it. It's going to be a draw. Yeah, there's no way. You can't do nothing. They're going to be doing 3. Oh, what exactly you want to do? Come on, there's nothing here. Rook g5, king f7 back again. Okay, rook b. Okay, what's the deal? What do you want to do? I don't think Gukesh can force anything here. Yeah, check. You're gonna have to move out of check now. Okay, king f3. Rook a3. King defends. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. Yeah, king e4, rook a4. I think they've done this already, so to speak. Yeah, he's not gonna let you to take initiative with knight c5 or something after king e4. After king e4, there is rook a4. King e4, rook a4. There you go. There you go. He wants to trade now. Interesting. Interesting. Rook takes, knight takes. Okay, he's gonna play now just with the knight. Okay, the bishop wants to come here, so you're gonna have to play your bishop to defend. Sorry, you're gonna have to play the king to defend g3, right? So what do you want to do with the knight? Where do you want to position the knight, actually? Knight b... Okay, g3 is being attacked. Okay, I understand he wants to win a tempo in order to get the knight to do something. What do you want to do with the knight? Where do you want to put a knight? Where do you want to put a knight? King f3. Okay, preparing g4. He wants to push g4. You can't push because h4 is hanging. Knight d4. Knight c6, knight e5. I'm not sure. You want to play the knight d7 to push the black king away from defending g6 or something? What does he want to do? Okay. Maybe you want to do knight a3, knight d5. Yes, knight a3, bishop e1. Even if you do a check, I guess king's gonna come here. And then king f6 back again. So what exactly you're going to do? Bishop e1, knight d5. I don't see how you're forcing things here. I don't know. g4 now. g4, bishop takes. What? g4, bishop takes h4. I'm not sure that things works. I'm not sure it's the right one. Even if you push g5, you're having your pawns on dark squares, Amerian, and that's a problem. You're not gonna make it. I don't think the g4 is working. Bishop takes h4, g5. So what? It's very complicated. In the end, you know something. The bishop only has to remove your pawns. I mean, sorry. I don't see the winning idea with g4. I don't see the winning idea with g4. I'm not sure that's enough for winning, though. Now, you don't want to lose, that's for sure. So if you don't have a clear plan for winning, I don't think you should be risking. Unless it's incredibly clear. If it's super, super, super clear, maybe. But if it's not, I don't think you should be risking anything. I don't think so. No, there's no progress here. Knight a2, king f3. They're going to do this thing. It's not going to be any progress. They're going to draw. I would have drawn anyway. Yeah, in this position, I would draw. No, can't do nothing. I'm not sure what I want to do. I mean, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? g4 now. He pushed g4 now. The bishop is no longer here. So g4 now had been played. So he tries to break through now, moves in chess. tries now. G4. Okay. Okay. Still looks like a draw to me. Even if you go here, you got no future because of the bishop. So you could play knight d5, but you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do nothing. No, that's a draw. Okay, you might have this and this stuff, but yeah, probably that's another draw, guys. Yeah, definitely a draw. Okay, he went for 95. What exactly you want to do? There's nothing. Come on. That's a draw. That's a draw, guys. This is a draw. You can push this guy, takes, and that's it. You're never going to make it through. You're never going to make it through. So if you trade the pawn for the black pawn, the other guy is not going to make it through. You needed one extra pawn or a better position. White can't force any win here. What is Gukesh playing at? It's not very good. What does he want to do, actually? It eludes me completely, guys. So whatever attempt White might try to, it completely eludes me. I don't see any way to make him progress here. That's it. Bishop takes and draw. All right, that's a draw. There should be a draw. Okie dokie. I guess Gukesh insists, hoping that maybe Anish Giri gonna blunder or something. But Anish Giri is on 4 minutes. Gukesh is on 36. Do you know what I think? He wants a sequence in which he forks both the king and the bishop with the knight, and then he plays king g5, pressurizing this guy. So I think he hopes for a something with the knight forking both the king and the bishop. He tries for that kind of sequence, but easier said than done. Or maybe he's waiting for, well, you can't play this guy to take on g6 because the bishop will take your your knight now. So you're not going to make it. Nah, that's it. Draw. That was it. All right, ladies and gents. So we're going to be pausing it for the time being, guys. And hopefully I'm going to see you tomorrow with rounds number 4, 5, and 6. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves, people. Thanks for visiting the stream. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. I'm going to go to my friend now and subscribe, follow to their Twitch account, Amerian. So thanks very much, brother, for stopping by. Good luck with your Twitch channel. And maybe see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you and take care.